It's Wednesday, November 8th, and we've got new vote totals in Whitman County. Francis Benjamin increased his lead over Deb McNeil to an 8 or 9 point margin. Pat Wright's lead shrank slightly, but she still has a pretty commanding lead over CJ Robert. And Eric Fajarin actually doubled his lead over Holly Greystone, but that only really ends up being about a point of percentage difference. So let's break down these numbers and see what changed from Tuesday night to Wednesday night. On the night that the polls closed, Whitman County counted 3,561 votes. In the next 24 hours, the vote count only went up by 750 votes. Why so little? Well, it's because the county didn't count all 3,000 votes on Tuesday. They've been carefully verifying ballots and running them through the machine for the last 18 or 19 days, giving them enough time to get up to 3,500. This 750 represents a lot of individuals' time going through ballots in the last 24 hours. On night 1, they reported another 3,000 votes to count. And here on night 2, they're reporting 4,500. This is great news because it means a lot of people either dropped off their ballot on Tuesday or mailed it in. Every single vote will be counted, but it does mean that fewer and fewer batches will come through as the days go on. So let's look at what changed with the contested races. The gap between Francis Benjamin and Deb McNeil was at 134 on the first night. Now it's at 192. As a percentage difference, it went from a low 7 to a high 8. Remember in my last video, I said that anything over a 5% gap was unlikely to change over the course of the week. The results of the mayoral race are looking pretty solid, which is why the Daily News felt confident calling the race for Benjamin. Next, we have Eric versus Holly for the at-large position. Now remember, on night 1, they only had 42 votes separating them for a point spread of 2.5%. Well, Eric's lead almost doubled to 80 votes. This gave him an extra 1.5 in margin with almost 4% difference between the two candidates. This is not a sure thing, but it's looking like Eric's going to come away with this one. In Pat Wright versus CJ Robert, we actually saw the gap difference shrink by about 2 points. But the gap between the two candidates still stays at about 25%. This one's not going to change. Pat Wright's going to hold her seat. In terms of voter turnout, the number has jumped from 15% up to almost 20%. As more ballots come in through the mail and are dropped off in Colfax, this number should go up even further. Keep in mind that these numbers are county-wide and not just the city of Pullman. Even though there's still 4,300 votes left to count, not all of them are for these 3 races. All in all, this type of voter turnout is pretty typical for Whitman County at this time of year. In a non-presidential cycle, we tend to hover at around 20%. And in a really good year, it might be up in the 30s or even the 40s. We'll continue to watch these results as they come in. Thanks so much for watching.